This conference will now be recorded.
Well, I've got 1 o'clock, so call the meeting to order.
The meeting is open, Sarah Clean.
It's a public
Mayor
planning
Woodbury.
meeting. Yep.
Just before you start, I just want to put a reminder out for everyone who's called in. If you can mute yourself when you're not speaking, because we can hear your background noise, okay?
Might be okay. We'll find out. Thanks, Lindsay. So the public planning meeting, we'll start off with item number 3.1, and that is Alvin Martin's file. The purpose of this official plan amendment would be to facilitate a use and expansion of commercial business and building on site, being Cedar Creek Tools. The zoning bylaw amendment would be to include provisions to permit and regulate proposed agricultural commercial uses within the proposed exception zone. The location of the subject land is legally described as Concession 5, North Park Gore Lot A, Geographic Township of Egremont. Lands are alternatively described as 411190 Southgate Road 41. And the property shown on the map that was with the notice. And that the official plan designates the subject land as agriculture. Okay, so can I have confirmation that the notice was given, please?
Yes, Mayor Woodbury, notice was posted and given in accordance with the Planning Act.
Okay, thank you. Clint, would you like to go over comments received?
Thank you, Chair Woodbury. So our first set of comments comes from the Historic Saugeen Métis, indicating that they've reviewed all of the documents and have no objection or opposition. The Public Works Department indicates a road widening is not necessary. There's 2 existing entrances, one on 04 and one on 41. It is a load restricted road. And it says the section of side road 41 between Southgate Road 04 and Wellington Street East, just past the existing entrance on 411190. There's no winter maintenance posted. Snow plow uses the entrance of 411190 to turn around. So that's just a heads up of how the operations work in that area. The building department indicates that development will require applicable permits before construction, if there is any, or that would include change of use permits if necessary. The Saugeen Conservation Authority indicate the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and official plan amendment applications are both acceptable to the SVCA staff. And that's all of the comments that I've received.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the public?
Hello, this is Larry Schill.
Yes.
Yes, I'm the applicant.
Okay. I'll be getting to you in a couple of minutes.
Sure.
And, you can make a statement then. Okay.
Sure, that'd be fine.
Okay, great. Was there any more from the public? Sorry, Clint, I didn't catch your answer.
No, there were no comments received from members of the public.
Okay. Are there any questions from members of council so far? Okay. Seeing none, and
Chair Woodbury?
Yeah.
Barbara DeBreen here.
Yeah.
In looking at the application, this is to Clinton, is there not supposed to be a diagram or with the application? I know you've been including it with your staff report, but in a public planning meeting, we don't have that opportunity.
It was likely included with the drawings. Just give me a second here.
There is a map, and it's on the public notice portion.
I saw the map, but normally there's a layout of where the things would be laid out.
Yeah, and that's actually within the planning report, if I'm not mistaken.
But your planning report doesn't come until it comes to council.
No. The planning report prepared by MHBC.
Oh, okay.
For Mr. Martin.
Okay, it normally accompanies the it normally accompanies the application. That's, I was just looking for it there. Thank you.
It did accompany it in the sense that it was all submitted at the same time, but it's a large PDF document, right, of the planning justification for the official plan amendment. So it's a separate document, but in that has all the figures and whatnot that you would expect.
Okay, thank you.
I guess my only concern is that we're talking about C521 and the OPA 1-21, correct? Am I in the right file?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can't seem to find the planner's report.
Okay.
But maybe it didn't load properly.
I'm checking the website. Hang on, it should be under the appropriate file on the website.
Well, I didn't think to go to the website. I was relying on the agenda. So carry on. I'm sorry to have disrupted. I don't have all the information. I will do my research. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, John, Martin here.
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Okay, through the chair, Clinton, can you just clarify something me in the purpose or the, where am I? I'll have to find it. I'll ask at the second round. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay. Hearing no others from questions from council, now we can go to the agent or applicant, and you just have to state your name and address for the clerk, and then we can you can make any statement that you would like to at this time.
Okay. So my name is Larry Schill. My wife and I own the adjoining property, and before when we had purchased it, that this 10-acre lot was already severed off of that farm. So we bought the farm. Then we had an opportunity to buy the house and the 10-acre parcel. For whatever reason, the 10 acres that about 7 acres workable certainly did not make any sense to be with that severed parcel. So the purpose of all this is to take 7 acres of farmland, join it to our already existing farm, and leave about 3 acres with the house.
Larry?
Yes.
Sorry, we're not on your file yet. You're second in the agenda.
Okay.
We're on a different file, okay?
Okay. So you're not even talking about my file.
Not
Okay,
quite yet.
no problem.
Okay. So this is the Alvin Martin file that we're talking about. So
Chair Woodbury, yeah. Trevor Hawkins from MHBC, yeah.
Good, great, go ahead.
For sure. I actually have a PowerPoint that might help Councillor Dobreen as well. If I could share screen, or if the clerk wanted to load the presentation I sent earlier today, either would be fine.
I just made you the presenter, Trevor.
Oh, okay.
Great, well, go ahead, Trevor, thank you.
So can everyone see the image on the screen? Yep.
Yes.
So I'll just skip to the next slide to show us where the property is. It's at the corner of 04 and 41, highlighted out here in pink. The property would be, for the purposes of the commercial use, would be accessed off 04 with the driveway in this location. The house can be accessed off of 41 in this location. That's the reference to the partial plowing, and the turnaround is actually this section right here. So as you can see, the area around it has a mix of uses. There's residential right across the street. There's agriculture to the east. There's some more residential to the west and further to the northwest, and then Mount Forest to the southwest. So the purpose of the application essentially is to recognize the existing use of the lands, which is a commercial use that sells tools and hardware, to permit an expansion of that use. So this image here is a zoom in of the site. It shows the driveway leading into the existing shop, which is the smaller rectangle here. The intent would be to create a newer, larger building, approximately 750 square meters or less, in accordance with the official plan, to have parking to support that use, which would be distinct from the house and some of the existing farm accessory buildings. And then the balance of the lands around here would be what are farmed and would continue to be farmed. So the official plan amendment is, the main purpose is to allow the use on a property that's less than 20 hectares. This property is a little bit less than 3 hectares, and so small scale commercial and industrial uses would be allowed on a property in this designation that is 20 hectares or greater. But because this property is smaller, we need to amend the official plan to introduce a specific policy for this site to allow that use on a smaller property. And then the rezoning aspect would be to allow the use which isn't currently permitted. So here's just a couple of excerpts from the township's official plan up here on the right. So you can see the lands are designated agriculture. Across the street are rural, as well as some of the hazard lands. The property today is zoned residential with a special provision number 29. So the intent would be to introduce a special policy area just on this property to allow the small scale commercial use on a property less than 20 hectares. And then to add some new site-specific regulations to the existing R629 zone. So the intent with the site-specific provisions in the zoning bylaw would be to permit some additional farm-related uses that could operate within the building. Special language to give some guidance, and we'd work with Clinton on the language around the products that would be sold there, to permit a building size of 750 square meters, which is consistent with that official plan policy. We would use the regulations in the C4 zone to determine where the building could be located and the parking required for it. And then to provide some clarity around the ancillary sale of tools and hardware. So the tools and hardware that are sold there today would continue to be sold, but they would become part of a larger business that sells agriculture related products as well. So the tools and hardware would be ancillary to the other sale of goods, but they would still be a part of the store, and they'd still be offered for sale within the store. So I'd like to thank council for their time today. Again, this is just an image here that can shows you where the building would be located on the property. So the entire property here, and then with a zoom in to provide a little bit more clarity around where we're proposing to locate the building. It would just effectively be in the same location as the existing shop, but it would be larger. Thank you, Chair Woodbury.
Great, thank you very much for the presentation to clarify things quite a bit. Are there any questions from the public at this point? Okay, hearing none. Are there any questions from council?
Yeah, Chair Woodbury Martin here.
Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, I found it. I think the planner from the client's planner answered it, but it was just that section where it says in the purpose, the amendment to the zoning bylaw will introduce new site-specific uses such as sales, farm equipment, farm supply, and zoning standards to either the existing R26 zone or through a site-specific commercial zone. If Clint can expand on that, I think I got the gist of what the other planner was saying, but that's the only thing that I was wondering about. So, Clinton, could you further define that for me? Why is it or? Shouldn't it be one or the other, or both?
Well, it's or because we haven't actually made up our mind which way we want to do it, because you can do it as an exception to the existing zone and add in all of the uses that you want, or you can make it a commercial zone and then have the exception for the residential use and then just refine it as a very site specific. So it depends on how you want to look at it, whether it's the residential portion that is going to take precedence and then have this commercial business as the exception, or whether it's the commercial business and then the residential is going to be the exception. Okay. Right? So that's the way why I put it that way. It's not really a big issue in terms of the uses they want. We're still going to include all of the uses they're asking for in the notice and in their report and presentation. So it's just a matter of how we note it in the bylaw.
Okay, so basically, we'll do what we can for the betterment of we'll do what we can for the betterment of the client, either or. So, okay, for the township. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Did that answer your question?
I think it did. Thank you, Clinton.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from council? All right, hearing none, that will be that file, and thank you.
Barbara Dobreen.
Oh, okay, Barbara, go ahead.
Sorry, I guess I have to unmute twice. I just wanted to thank Mr. Hawkins for elaborating and providing that presentation. Thanks very much.
Okay. Okay, so that would be that file. So thank you, and greatly appreciated coming out for that. Next, we have 3.2, which is C6-21. That's Jerry and Ann McNulty. The location of the property is concession 11, lot 36 and part lot 37, geographic township of Proton, civic address 146573, Southgate Road 14. Purpose of the zoning bylaw amendment application is to implement a condition of consent for a proposed surplus farm lot by amending the zoning standards for the severed parcel to recognize a reduced lot frontage. The retained lot will prohibit future residential development. The effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment would be to change the zoning symbol on a portion of the property for the severed parcel from agricultural A1 to residential type 6 exception, recognizing reduced lot frontage. The prohibited residential development and the provincial are the prohibit residential development. The environmental protection zone boundary may be adjusted based on the Conservation Authority's comments. Could I have confirmation that notice was posted, please?
Yes, Mayor Woodbury, a notice was posted and given in accordance with the Planning Act.
Okay, thank you. Clint, would you go over any comments received? You're not coming through.
And you're muted.
Sure. Just one moment here.
There, you're good now.
the first set of comments then are no concerns with the.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
No, you're cutting in and out.
Okay, so the just give me a second here. I'm
Yep, you're
kicking
good
some
now.
kids off the internet.
Not us big kids, eh?
Okay, so there we go. So the building department has no concerns or objections. The Enbridge Gas indicate that they do have service lines in the area that may or may not be affected by the proposed severance. If it is, it's the owner's expense to move the service lines. We have that's really hard to read. The County of Grey indicating that they have no further concerns. The Historic Saugeen Métis have no objections. And the Public Works Department indicated safe access can be provided. It's a rural asphalt standard on the road, and a road widening is required, and it's a load restricted road. The Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority indicate that the consent application is acceptable, and that is all of the agency comments I have on file.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the public?
None received.
All right, thank you. Any questions from council? Brian?
Thank you, John. Clint, is this designated rural or ag in the official plan?
Agriculture.
So does that not restrict the number of parcels that this property can be divided up into?
Not when it's a surplus farm severance in
Okay.
this case. So,
all right, thank you.
Okay.
Good explanation. Any other comments from council or questions? Okay, hearing none. Jerry, I see you're here. Did you want to add anything?
No, just that we're thankful and appreciate the comments and support from council members as well as from the staff of Southgate Township. So thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Jerry. Any members of the public wish to comment on this one? Okay, hearing none. Is there any further comments from council? Okay, so thank you. That's that file, and we'll move on to the next. 3.3, which is C721 AG Holdings Incorporated. Location of the subject land is Concession 1, Part Lot 40, Geographic Township of Proton. Civic address 267335 Highway 89. Purpose of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application is to implement a condition of consent for a lot addition. Parcel A on the sketch included with the consent file B10-20 will be rezoned to recognize a reduced lot frontage and lot area. Parcel B will be merged with the agricultural lot and will be rezoned to reflect the same zoning as the agricultural parcel. The effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment would be to change the zoning symbol on a portion of the property from parcel B, for parcel B from A1-115 to A1-148 to have parcel reflect the same zone standards as the agriculture parcel that it is being added to. Parcel A will remain zoned agricultural exception, but the provisions of the bylaw will be altered to reflect the smaller lot size of 1.3 hectares and a smaller lot frontage of 99 meters. Could I have confirmation that notice was given, please?
Yes, Mayor Woodbury, proper notice was given in accordance with the Planning Act.
Thank you. Comments received, Clint?
Thank you, Chair Woodbury. We have comments from the building department indicating no concerns or objections. The Enbridge Gas has no concerns other than indicating they have lines in the area. The Historic Saugeen Métis have no objections. The Public Works Department indicate that a road widening is not necessary and the road is MTO jurisdiction. So I believe because it's on 89, is it not?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, so then there's no jurisdiction there from the township. So that's all of the comments received.
Okay, anything from the public?
No comments received.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions at this point from council? Okay, hearing none. Larry, we found the right file. So if you'd like to make comments, go right ahead.
Well, I'd just like to thank council for attending with this matter today. This is fairly straightforward. I just want to reduce the lot size of the house and property from 10 acres down to 3 acres and merge the balance of 7 acres in with my existing agricultural farm.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the members of the public? Okay, are there any further questions from council? Well, it's pretty quiet, so that's good. So that's your file, Larry. So thank you for hanging on there for us.
Okay, well, thank you. Sorry for butting in there. I thought you were already on mine. So.
We'll
okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
yep.
Thanks. We'll get there one way or another.
Yeah, bye.
Next is 3.4, that's C8-21, Peter and Ruth Weber. The location of the property is concession 17, part lot 16 of Egremont Township, and there is no civic address for that piece of property. The purpose of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application is to consider a change to allow for a secondary unit in an R5 zone on private services to be permitted on the property. The effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment would be to change the zone symbol on the property from residential type 5 to residential type 5 exception to add a new use to the property. Can I have confirmation that notice was given, please?
Yes, Mayor Woodbury, proper notice was given in accordance with the Planning Act.
Okay, thank you. Clint, if you could review any comments received.
Thank you, Chair Woodbury. So the first comments we have are from the building department. They generally have no concerns or objections. They do note that applicable permits will be required before construction, and road access and civic number will be required before development proceeds. The County of Grey indicate county staff have reviewed the subject application and have no comments or concerns. The subject lands are within the secondary settlement area. And further, it provides alternative housing options for the elderly, young adults, and populations looking for smaller living quarters. So from their perspective, the secondary suites are permitted. Appendix B identifies a stream on the subject property. It says comments should be received from the local conservation authority. We actually know that's a municipal drain, and we have been working with Public Works in that regard to actually adjust that drain as necessary, but we do have comments from other agencies here. So Enbridge Gas, again, indicate they have service lines running within the area, which may or may not be affected, and it would be up to the owner to move those lines if necessary. The historic Saugeen Métis indicate they have no objection. The Public Works indicate a safe access can be provided. It's a rural asphalt road standard. A road widening is not required. It's a load restricted road, and in their comments they indicate municipal drain works have been relocated. So as we said, that was a municipal drain, and apparently the work has already been done to relocate that drain. So the SVCA also commented, and they find the application acceptable. So there's no other agency comments received.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the public?
I've received none.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from council?
Barbara here.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Through you to Clinton, just want to clarify between the application and the notice, this is an attached secondary dwelling, not a separate garden suite, because they do say attached. It wouldn't fall with that, like when you think about garden suite, it usually attaches a 20-year lease. This is an attached secondary unit, correct?
That's correct, and we permit those as of right in the A1 zone.
Yeah.
On larger lots.
Right.
However, on smaller lots such as R5 and certainly in this Dundalk or other small areas, we don't permit them as of right, because we want to make sure that septic systems are designed appropriately and whatnot. There's appropriate water services available, and drainage, those sorts of things. This is a brand new build, so we're building the house and the secondary unit at the same time. So the building department will make sure that everything is sized accordingly when the permits are submitted, as opposed to a conversion where you have an existing house with a septic and now you're going to add another unit to it. So that's the difference with this one.
Okay, well, thanks very much. Because they use the reference of garden suite, I just wanted to clarify that. And it's really exciting to see more growing. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from council this time? Okay.
Am I allowed to speak on my behalf at the point or not?
We're getting to that. Yep, we're just waiting for council to ask questions first, and actually, we're getting to you right now. So, Peter, if you'd like to make any statements for your application, now's the time.
Okay, excellent. Now, so this is a whole new experience for me. So I don't know if you're Chair Woodbury or Mayor Woodbury, but whichever you are, it's the first time you and I speak.
Yeah, well, most people just call me John. So
okay. Now, just so we know, this is the quietest I've seen the deputy mayor in a long time. I do think he should be wearing a tie, though.
Yes, well, I know.
In the country, we have to make exceptions.
Yeah.
The one thing I can inform you of, and that is that there is now a civic address for our lot. It's 224242, if that makes any difference. The permits for both the house, garden suite, whatever you want to call it, and that's just to make me feel less old. I'm sure it's really a granny flat, and but it's been a long process. But I'm beginning to see now, as I'm sitting into this meeting, why things take as long as they do. Like, I mean, you have to do everything politically correctly, so I'm trying to be patient. But it's been quite a journey, and we did get as was mentioned, the drain was moved There is no open ditch on our lot. It's actually on the neighboring lot. So we were fortunate that way, but that has all been looked after. And I'm just, at the moment, the builder says we're going to be in our new house for Christmas, and I am having a hard time buying it. But I am believing him so far.
Well, hopefully you'll be there.
But I enjoyed the opportunity to be able to be in on this. It's a new experience for me, and just to be able to see how you guys function. And for most of you, I voted for you, so now I can see you are earning your paychecks, because I was wondering about it for a while. Anyways, thank you so much.
I have to say this is probably the most patient I've seen Mr. Weber in a long time.
You're lucky. I have to be patient, otherwise you'll just say, forget it, we're not doing it, and I'm out.
We'll get there.
Stick with it, my friend.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any members of the public that would like to speak on this? Okay, and then we go back to
I'm in a meeting right now. Can I call you back?
Council for questions. Well, doesn't look like many, so at least this part's gone quickly. And I agree. I think Brian should be wearing a tie, but he lives in the suburbs of Drumore, so maybe that's why he decided not to today. So,
and just so you know, I am cultivating our relationship, and I think we're making progress.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next file. So thank you. We appreciate that. And that is 3.5. It's C9-21, Pallister Farms Livestock Limited. Let's see. Legal description, concession 10, lot 32, geographic township of Broughton, civic address 146398, Southgate Road 14. Purpose of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application is to implement a condition of consent for a proposed new lot by amending the zoning standards for a severed parcel to recognize the reduced lot frontage. The retained lot will prohibit future residential development. The effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment would be to change the zoning symbol on a portion of the property for the severed parcel from agriculture A1 to residential type 6 exception. Recognizing the reduced lot frontage, the retained parcel will be zoned from agriculture A1 to agriculture exception to prohibit residential development. The environmental protection zone boundary may be adjusted on Conservation Authority comments. Could I have confirmation that notice was given, please?
Yes, Mayor Woodbury, proper notice was given in accordance with the Planning Act.
Okay, thank you. Clint, would you like to go over comments received?
Thank you, Chair Woodbury. So the first comments we have here are from the County of Grey, indicating that it appears to adequately implement the consent B3 of 2021, and the county has no further concerns. The historic Saugeen Métis have no concerns or objections. The building department has no concerns or objections. The Public Works Department indicates a safe access can be provided. It's a rural asphalt road standard, and it's an existing double entrance for the residential lot. The SPCA indicate that the proposed consent application, and this is the zoning, is acceptable to the SPCA staff. And that is all of the agency comments received.
You're muted, Mayor Woodbury.
Well, that would make it really hard for people to hear me. Was there anything received from the public, Clint?
None received.
Oh, okay, thank you. Any comments or questions from council at this time? Okay, the applicant or an agent is present and wants to identify yourself or say anything. Go ahead.
Yes, Chris Pallister here. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. If you have any questions, I'm open to answering them. But other than that, I appreciate council for dealing with this today.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Glad you're here. It's always good to have someone in case something does come up. Okay, are there any members of the public that would have any questions or comments? How about council again? Well, Chris, looks like you got off easy on the answering the questions part. So
sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's nice when it goes that way. Okay, well, that's the conclusion of that file. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and getting this done. So look forward to seeing these things progress. So meeting I will call adjourned at 1:41. Thanks.